What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's Daily Devotional, man. We are going through the book of John. Glad you guys are here and listening. It's Monday, but it's a good day, right? Even though sometimes Mondays can be tough, that's why we're reading the scriptures, man, because it's going to help us get through the day. It's going to help us calm down after the day. It's going to help us because scripture aids, because we get to know Jesus. And when we get to know Jesus, we get powerful confidence. We get wonderful assurance if we believe Jesus. And that's what we're actually going to read about here now, is that Peter ain't trusting the words of Jesus. Technically, I think that'll be tomorrow, but we're going to set up the scene. But I think that's important for us, is to be able to trust Jesus. You know why I think it's important? Because that's what this is this is the ministry, is trusting in Jesus Ministries. But let's go on and jump into the scriptures, man. So we're on John chapter 18, verses 15 through 16. John 18, 15 through 16. If you haven't read it, stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say, come back, and we're going to answer some questions. If you've already read it, we're going to go ahead and ask these questions, man. So what's going on? Well, we know that the scene earlier we saw was in the garden. The guards came and they arrested Jesus, and now they're taking him somewhere. And it says that Peter follows, but not just Peter, another disciple follows as well. And so a little sidetrack here is it talks about another disciple, and we've talked about before what anonymity means and how it could be beneficial in storytelling. We talked about how that anonymity earlier, when it talks about the disciple that Jesus loved, kind of made a sharp distinction on what a disciple should look like. And then Peter was opposite of him, showing what a disciple actually looks like. You know what I mean? The one was what we should look like, what we're striving to be. And then Peter was what most of us probably are. And I think in this sense, again, we're seeing this back and forth between this anonymity of the disciple and then of Peter. And again, I want to say that it probably is John. You know what I mean? It's probably John, but he's anonymous. So we don't know for sure if it is. Anyway, we see that Peter is following Jesus to this place. Not only him, but also this other disciple is following him. And it's important in the storytelling because this other disciple is actually the reason why Peter can get into the area where Jesus is being tried. And he lets him in. It says that because he is known by he's known by the high priest, and so they let him in. But Peter stuck outside, and so the anonymous disciple had to go in and let Peter in, and he let him in. And so I think what's happening here is important for us to know as well. First off, we got to ask the second question, which is what's to say about God. I think this is a very difficult one in the verses that I took to kind of find that. But I think what's important we do see is that God is still in control. Like everything that's taking place, God is got his hand in. He's making sure everything is taken care of, because we're going to see Peter get into a situation where he doesn't trust Jesus, but Jesus' word still remains, which is that those whom he has called will not be destroyed. So even though Peter and this anonymous disciple are in a probably not the greatest of situations, because the people who took Jesus brought him to this place and they hate Jesus. They're in very real mortal danger. And so I want us to remember that. But Jesus said that they would not be destroyed. They would not be lost. And so even in this situation, God is in control, in the fact that these brothers will not be arrested and will not be killed in this moment. So God is in charge, man. What's to say about man? I think what this says about man is we need our brothers. We need our sisters in arms. See, Peter couldn't get in on his own. He needed a little help. And he got a help with his friend. They said, just made me think of that song, I get by with a little help from my friends. And so that's here, is that Peter is getting a little help from his friend and allowing him to come in and partake in the witness of Jesus's kangaroo court, where they're bringing him at night and trying. We'll talk about that in a little bit too as we get into the trial of Jesus. But now, what does it say? I mean, how do we apply these truths to our lives is the last question. We ask, what's to say about God? We ask, what is this saying about man? And now we're going to ask, how can we apply these truths to our lives? I think one thing is remembering that God is in control. He's in charge. But also that we need help from friends. And that's why he has instituted the church. That's why he has created for us in him, the head, Jesus, who is in charge, made the church, the body, where we can do the things that God desires to be carried out in this world. So it is a body of believers. It is us as a group that can achieve much. We can achieve much. And because of that, I ask you the question, did you hang out with the people of God yesterday? Yesterday was Sunday, traditional day for church. Did you hang out with the people of God yesterday? And then, do you plan on hanging out or being a part of or fellowshipping with the people of God today and throughout the week? Because it isn't just one day. It is all day. Well, not all day, but you know what I mean. It is more than one day. It is a group of fellowship, a communion that we should be having with one another. Growing, loving, caring for, building up, encouraging one another as the church. Hey, I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.